the wires, and the sound is a lot better. They said.
Oh, wow, they did that already? That's fun.
They recorded.
All right, so I'd like to start the meeting. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Madam Deputy Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Certainly. Supervisor Moore.
Present?
Councilwoman McNamara.
Here.
Councilman Iacili.
Here.
Councilman Pell.
Present.
And Councilman Schivoni.
Present.
All right, well, today we're gonna not have any topics for the work session other than our liaison updates. So who'd like to get us started today?
I will.
Okay.
Yesterday, Councilman Schivoni, Councilman Iacili, and I attended a 9/11 and Patriots Day ceremony at Hampton Bays Elementary School. It was amazing. All their events are really amazing. They have a veterans event several times a year. They also
Lars does such a nice job.
he
with
really
the
does, and the
students.
kids. I mean, I have to say that they're fourth grade kids, and they were only been in school for a week, and they put this whole event together where they have readings and they have songs, and to pull that off in a week with fourth graders is pretty amazing. Sometimes it's sometimes the ceremonies happen 2 days after the start of school, but they always pull it off, and it's always a great event. We also celebrated the 100th birthday of Sylvia Smith.
She looks very good.
She's pretty amazing.
The new 90.
Yeah. So it was a really nice event, and the only other thing I wanted to mention was there is the Over the Bridge 10K run, 5K run walk on Saturday for the Lions Club. Just for purposes of if anybody was interested in doing that, or if they have traffic issues, it's usually not that impactful on traffic, but just to be aware.
Mm-hmm.
And
Thank
San
you.
Gennaro is this
Oh,
weekend.
yeah, right.
Saturday and Sunday.
Thank you.
Beautiful weather for once.
Jim, I know yesterday is particularly meaningful for your family, for you,
Yeah, thank you.
because of your brother.
Right. Yeah, it was a good day. Got to see a lot of my brothers, the firemen that my brother worked with back in 2001 who were there, and there's one or two that are still working at the house, who were kids at the time, basically. But
Oh, you went into the city to the
yeah,
firehouse.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of the firemen, they all come back, which is nice. It's a service at St. Martin's on Park Avenue for Italian, so that was nice.
Oh yeah, I love that same part.
Yeah,
Pretty.
yeah, they do a really, really nice job there for the whole battalion, the honor roll. The first responders that were killed from that area, kind of east side, middle east side of Manhattan. So it was very nice.
That's so
It's always
special.
nice to see other families and stuff there. Yeah.
You both did the tunnels, the towers one year?
I do it every year.
You do?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Cindy,
tunnel.
you did it,
But I
right?
I did it
one
last year.
Yeah. Well,
It
the
was
two
it's an
events.
amazing thing.
Yeah.
You do
That's
the tower climb too.
Yeah, there are two events. The tunnel, through the tunnel is now that we first started doing that, back with the Silver family back in a couple of years after 9/11. There was 300 or 400 people doing it now. Cindy, Chris did it last year with us, and it was like over 30,000.
Wow.
It's just an amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
the sheer amount of people,
Yeah,
and then you get through the tunnel, and it's you start off all gung ho because they have music playing, and you're going downhill in the tunnel, and then you start that climb back up, and then just coming out and not only seeing the tower, but all the faces of all of the people. They put all the people that died on 9/11. That all their pictures are there, and everyone there's each one
Wow.
holding a picture, and
yeah.
and it was something though that Senator Palumbo mentioned yesterday, which is kind of to me was kind of shocking that we've now had more first responders die of 9/11 related illnesses than actually died on 9/11. So
Yeah, it's amazing when you think about that. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It is a great coming out of the tunnel.
I mean, I'm like just you think about it, you get goosebumps.
They
but
just
it's-
line,
Yeah.
When it first started, they had 343 firemen holding flags and wearing the plackets of the 343 that were killed that day, And then we also got the NYPD involved in it. Now you have the military involved in it too. So there's people wearing banners, pictures of every military person that's been killed since, because they, essentially took the fight. The police officers and the firemen and the quarters of people that responded that day responded to that attack, and then the military took it from there. And so there's that brotherhood there. That's what Steve Frank Silla, who started it in honor of his brother Stephen. That's what he said. Brothers helping brothers, brothers and sisters helping brothers and sisters, and so.
And the Siller family, named Mr. Siller, does not take a dime of
No,
any of the
oh
money
no,
raised.
oh yeah, no.
Mm.
93% of what they raise goes directly towards their causes.
And it's raising money for soldiers that were severely wounded. Severely wounded. Like he said, you don't want to be a member of this club. It's people who typically have had both legs blown off. Use, partial use of their arm. People have disabilities in every which way, so they build these smart homes for them. And they get to live independent lives because of the smart homes. They can use wheelchairs to get everywhere of the in the house. In and out of the house. They can kitchen cabinets and counters come down to their level, the wheelchair level, but also with the spouse that goes back up to.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, and when you build a house for these folks, it's everything. Everything's there, soup to nuts, and the K-cups are in the holders, in the refrigerator stop. Throw pillows around the couch, everything. It's an amazing thing. And then we started the climb up the new tower. Pat Foy, who used to be the head of the Port Authority, I met with him a number of years ago. He graciously, I asked him, could we use the building when it's done? And he said yes on the spot. He said yes on the spot. And so my brother and I.
You did that too yesterday.
Met with Frank Sill. No, the climb is in June.
Oh.
Yeah, we did the climb in June, so it's like separated. So when we got approval for that, I reached out to Frank, and he said, if you want to raise money for what we do, you have my whole resources. And building smart homes for severely wounded soldiers and paying off mortgages for people killed in the line of duty. Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good mission, right?
Absolutely.
So.
And you've done that, Klein, and Sean Cambridge has done it.
Sean's
as well,
done the
right?
climb, yeah. Sheriff T House, a number of people have done it. Yeah. It's all shapes and sizes, and now it's become the world champion tower climb. It's amazing with this climb. Some of these people do it like in 13, 14 minutes. They're up and then they're down. But
Well,
it's it's an amazing thing.
How many floors is it?
104.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, and there's some of the wounded soldiers who do it. They do it without their legs. They do it with their arms. All the way up. All the way up.
Wow.
it's like the firemen that do the Tunnel of Towers in full turnout.
Yeah, I know. That's amazing too. Yeah, and that's the nice thing about the Tunnel of Towers is it's firemen there, and they're first responders and people like that. But then there's people from all walks of life, and everybody's just there for the right reasons. All
I mean, you see people fall, people stop, help them up. I mean, it's just everyone's there, and
yeah, and the businessmen and it's cocktail waitresses. It's all sorts of people from all different walks of life who are there. And the spirit when you go there, it's right.
it's amazing.
The spirit of it is just.
You were telling Jim was always telling me about it, and so I did it last year, and everything he said is everything it was. So it's pretty amazing, and to go with the fire department was actually I think even more meaningful.
Yeah, to do it is it's probably I don't know one of the best mornings you're ever going to spend if you go there to do it. And you can walk. People walk. There's nothing,
I walked.
There's no judgments on people walking, running.
I think Jim started 3 cycles behind me, and he beat me to the finish line.
I think I'd be walking.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's not. It's not really. I mean, and now they put the elite runners up front now, so they'll do it. But in general, it's just there to raise money and to have fun with people, spend a morning together. Nothing better.
Well, I'm glad it was a meaningful day yesterday for you.
Yeah,
I was thinking
is.
of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Michael, did you want to take anything?
Sure. So I'll just first say it was great joining Cindy and Tommy John at Hampton Bays Elementary School yesterday. And also, by the way, we had Assemblyman Fred Thiel was there, and Senator Palumbo, and representatives from Congressman Lota's office, as well as representatives from Legislator Ann Welker's office. So it was great that we were all there. And I just want to say that, one of the things that I talked about was the living classroom, which is the model that Lars Clemenson has implemented for the annual September 11th Remembrance Day, as well as their flag ceremonies too, which sort of keep the memory of our veterans in mind. And this particular event, however, really is meant to preserve the historical memory of 9/11. And I talked about the importance of that and what it means to our national identity and our sort of collective consciousness of who we are as Americans, this coming together of unity that we saw after 9/11. No matter who you were, where you came from, we all came together. And what really actually prompted me to bring that up was I read an article from Rolling Stone recently that said that Gen Z, and there's like younger people, post on social media, not everybody, but there's some that use 9/11 as a meme. And that's really tragic to hear, given how much of us were experienced trauma in some degree. I shared how my father was actually in the city during 9/11. Thankfully, he got out in time, but I was like scared as a child. Like,
Sure.
Is my dad going to be okay? So a lot of people experienced much more, much greater trauma. So it's important what they're doing, and I just want to commend them.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then we attended the SOA dinner last week with Supervisor Moore and Cindy, and we thanked all of our retired and active duty members of law enforcement. It was great to be there and thank them for their service. Also, this week I attended the Love Michael conference with Tommy John, where we discussed their autism-friendly community model, and I talked about the importance of government serving as a great intermediary between families and programs, connecting families to those various services. And just a couple of updates. The Anti-Bias Task Force Picnic is happening this Sunday, 1 to 5 o'clock at Red Creek Park. And also this Sunday, there is a pancake breakfast for the Sag Harbor Fire Department's Ladies Auxiliary happening on September 15th. From 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., $15 for adults, $8 for children. It's a great cause just to support our local fire department, and you can have some pancakes.
It's also a good breakfast.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So,
Excellent.
yep.
You want to talk about the sound system?
Oh, yeah. Well, the sounds, Andrew and Kevin Peter was very busy. Yesterday, they moved the speakers around so the sound, they say it looks a lot better. So you sit in the back of the room, you can hear, and hopefully the AC will keep on going good. So we're all set when we have a
Yeah.
big crowd.
That's terrific that our new Andrew hit the ground running and
Yes,
has seemingly solved the problem already.
hope so.
Sure. I was at the Hampton Bays Living Classroom this year. That was covered by Cindy and Michael. Very, very good event. It's really great to see all the wonderful things happening in that school district. They do a lot. Also, at the Dormition of the Virgin Mary, the Greek Church, as it's sometimes called, there was a symposium to discuss various housing methods for adult children of autism. The self-directed model is what they look at, and they had folks in there from all over the New York metropolitan area discussing various ideas to house individuals, some of the most vulnerable individuals in our society, and how that moves forward. So that was really great to be part of that and to give input. Also, the Arts and Cultural Committee had a meeting this week, a very interesting meeting. We had an extended conversation about the future of Southampton College, and I think there's some really great things on the rise there if we put our energy in the right direction. Very interested in seeing that become some kind of they have some interesting ideas. Just leave it there. Also, this week, the Bel Air Motel, the walls were getting knocked down. I think we all probably saw the videos of that. I know that this board has worked diligently on getting that building down. And it's important for us to know that this was one of these vestiges of Hampton Bays that used to be a hotel, and then it became workforce housing. Around 2000, there were people living there. When I came on this board, I was actually new to the situation. We had estimating, because we could only estimate anywhere between 50 and 70 people living in that building. And it was very difficult to address it because of the type of C of O that they had. We had code enforcement down there, and it was just a situation. And it was a salient issue in the community. It's one of the reasons why we designed our public safety the way we did, was for that and other places in the area of Hampton Bays and some other folks. And in 2019, the town moved to purchase that property. And in 2019, we did. 2019, 2020. But we also had to deal with the people who were living in that building. And that was difficult. And we did it through social services, through attrition, and we did it in a humane manner. And so, folks were moved out of the building and they went to other locations. So the town purchased it. And then COVID-19 hit. Boom. 2 years, we couldn't do very much. And then followed with that was the cyber security breach at Suffolk County, affecting the Suffolk County Health Department. That also delayed our permitting process. And so we had heard from the community at the time that they wanted to keep that parcel on the tax rolls. And that's why we did what we did. It was supported by the elected members from the Hampton Bays community who sat on this board. This is an issue that has gone over 5 different boards. This is it. And I'm proud of the work that we have done on this. So after the pandemic, when we finally got the health departments, we brought forward an RFP to redevelop the property. The community came out, told us very clearly last fall that they did not want it. And so we canceled the RFPs. And so what this board inherited was a property that was unencumbered, owned by the town, and was vacant. And so now we're taking it down and we're going to be making a park. So congratulations to this board and really everyone else who has worked on this particular issue in Hampton Bays for many, many years. I know it's been something that the community has been waiting for a long time. So way to go. And other than that, there is Harbor Fest this weekend in Sag Harbor. Make sure you go and enjoy the festivities.
There's a lot of events this weekend.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to clarify something on the Bel Air, and that is that I was at the public hearings for the urban renewal plan, and the community was very clear at the time then that they wanted a passive park and they did not want more development at that
Right,
site.
and that was a discussion at the time, and the board went with the way it went, including
It's
the
just very-
representatives from Hampton Bays.
I just don't want to gloss over the fact that at that point in juncture, they had already stated, because I was at that public hearing and I remember clearly the civic, the beautification, and it struck me as the CPF advisory committee chair at the time, who you guys have never seen at a meeting because they only come out when it's something. They came forward and said the CPF advisory committee is wholly in favor of this becoming a park and not being development because of coastal issues, and even that was disregarded. So it was on a path towards an urban
The
renewal
community
plan, and it
wasn't
went-
disregarded. We had heard loud and clear that $49,000 on the tax roll was significant, and I don't want us to gloss over that now because it's important to note that people came to the podium and said that we are fine with not having that on the tax rolls, and that's awesome. I'm happy to say that the Hampton Bays School District in 2018 was receiving $5.8 million in state aid. Now they're receiving north of $15 million. I think that's all great. They do a good job. And, the community, like I said, spoke loud and clear, and we listened to them.
the second-
And I think the bottom line is that everybody wanted the building to come down, no matter what
Yeah, that was always the
some
plan,
people
right.
thought should be there or not be there. They wanted it down, and now it's coming down, and
Well,
And
that's
that's
all
important.
history.
Yeah.
We learned by our mistakes, and in the next few weeks, we'll be sitting down and starting to look about designing it,
talk about how to.
design it with
Agreed.
the park, and then we'll bring it back to the board, then we'll bring it back to the community, and hopefully we can start it next spring.
Can't be anything too
Excellent.
sculptured though,
No,
because we don't want to
very
burden the
plain.
parks
And then we
department
do
any
have
further.
we have other hamlets that have been waiting on projects with
Yes.
CPF that they have to get done too.
Yes.
So.
Exactly.
They have to have someone
Move
push
it
behind
forward.
them.
So thank you. I'll say I had the Mayor Truehold hosted a State of the Town on the Quogue Village Green last weekend that I went to and spoke with the community, and they were about 40, 50 people, and they were very engaged, had a lot of questions. And so that's always nice when people show up to talk and listen. And this week I had an interview with Standard & Poor's to defend the town's AAA bond rating, and I think it went very well. It was about an hour and a half, and Dorothy was with me and Noah. And we should get the report on the 19th, the morning of the 19th. They said we'll have 2 hours to comment, and then they'll finalize it. But I think it looks good. So
Thank you for that.
you're welcome. And lastly, that you may have heard that the Shinnecock Canal locks are not functioning properly. And I did speak with Commissioner Bartha yesterday, and he said that this is such a nice coincidence, but they already had a crew, a contractor on location for another matter, so that they'll be able to do a change order to that contract, so they don't have to go out to bid for fixing it. So it should, they're there today looking at what's wrong, what's the issue, and they don't know yet, so it could take several weeks, but they're going to do it as quickly as possible.
It's
So
a
that's
busy
all I
time of
had.
year for the locks.
Yeah.
I know,
Because
it's really
people
unfortunate
are
that had to happen.
traveling with the boats, they're going back and forth. You have different fishing seasons opening soon, and people keep the boats in Shinnecock Bay might want to run to Long Island Sound. They can't do that if the locks are closed.
Bad timing.
To that point, the Bay Constables have stated that they will be on hand, if, to monitor it. If it's, I'm sure there's going to be times when the recreational boaters are trying to transient, and it's not a smart idea to do it at that point. They'll be alerting them and making sure that they know that they wait till a better time.
Oh, good.
You have
Yeah,
to know what you're
don't
doing
want to
when you go
get
through there.
stuck. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if that's all, then I move to go into executive session for acquisitions, contracts, personnel, confidential legal advice, and then to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.